Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay. I was trying to get people added to the group so we could do the live through the group, so the video would be in the group. And so far, it looks like I have 5 of you here now with me, which feels a whole lot better to me than going out to a whole group of unknown people out there. So I have 4 friends with me. And there's still possibility that some people will be joining us. But anyway, I don't know how, this is all new to me, this live interacting, but you can make comments, and I'll do my best to look at your comments, answer your questions. But for the most part, I just want to talk to you all for a little bit and share from my heart to yours what I'm feeling about where we're at collectively, and what we need to do for ourselves and for each other to support each other through this really very scary, chaotic, very uncharted waters that we're all facing together. So let me just stop for a moment and go back a bit, because some of you don't know me. And so let me introduce myself. My name is Victoria Jaswick, and I call myself the soul nurturer because really I feel like my mission is to help cultivate soul potential and to nurture that potential in all of us, and especially for times like this, to nurture ourselves forward towards all that we face and move through together. I'm a transformational hypnotherapist, so I deal a lot with fear. We all have fear. Fear is a natural and normal, helpful response, but when we are facing something like what we're facing now, it can really be amplified and triggers our fight, flight, or freeze response, and we really need to regulate and help ourselves to really say, okay, I'm aware of what's going on, and now what do I need to do? I need to turn my music down a little bit because it's a little distracting for me. Really wanted to have some soothing music in the background. We're going to talk about ways to soothe and comfort ourselves as we move towards what we are going through. And let me go over here. Actually, I'm not able to see your comments right now. I'm sorry, but you know what? Comment under the video, or I'm going to go back to the group and answer any questions. But the intention of the group is to have a space to gather, to lift ourselves up during this time, to support ourselves and each other. And as we get started, now I've got my own notes. Now I'm back on. I was going to try to just speak from my heart, but I want to make sure I touch on some of the things that I felt were important. The first thing I want to do, though, is to just bring us all together, including myself. Really, this going live bit can also bring some fear up. I mean, we're already, fear, right? Can you feel it? We're going to do a little checking in to see where our level of fear is, including me. So I need to just relax into this moment, and I want to invite you to do that with me. So just close your eyes for a moment, and before we relax, I want you to just notice what you're noticing about where you are in this moment. Really assessing your level of fear. Okay, we're going to talk about fear, working with fear, shifting our fear, and then tapping into what we are all wired with, created with, resiliency. We all have it. It's part of our nature. It's part of nature. And we're going to cultivate that and really amplify that, our resiliency, our strengths, so that we can navigate what we are facing with expanded awareness, more compassion for ourselves and others. So just notice, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really high fear, 1 would be baseline, feeling okay. And just notice, and you can even let me know if you want to, and I'll check in with you later. But right now, I'm probably, I'd say 5 or 6, maybe a 5. And so just notice where you are, and let's just take a breath of anchoring into calm energy and giving ourselves permission just to be here, to let go of everything that's concerning us, let go of all the stories, all the fear that we've been gathering in our worlds, and just drop in a little bit with that breath. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to share at the top of this discussion my most favorite and most important go-to tool to help calm ourselves, to connect to ourselves, and to turn off that fight, flight, or freeze response. And it's very simple, and yet it's very potent and powerful. So really, all you need to do is just put your hand over your heart, and then just breathe into your heart. And let's just go a little bit deeper with this. This right here, to me, it's a way to self-soothe. It's a way to let our body, mind, system know that we're okay. And actually, some research recently suggests that when we do this, we release the bonding hormone called oxytocin, right? Oxytocin is calming and bonding, so I love that. We're bonding with ourselves. So just want to start there so that we can know where we're starting with our level of fear. And my intention, my hope is by the end of this conversation, we're going to drop down a little bit lower, feel a little bit more calm, centered, have a little more hope, turned up our faith, all the things that are going to support us. We really need to turn that up and tether into that. So let's see. I wanted to start with a reading, but I think I'm just going to start with this quote by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, that she just is really speaking to what we're all going through. She's been speaking volumes of wisdom to support us for years and years and years, but right now she's really bringing it. And actually, this is a quote. She says that, please do not spend your spirit dry bewailing these difficult times. Especially, do not lose hope. Most particularly, because the fact is, we were made for these times. What does that mean, we were made for these times? Well, I believe, as a transformational hypnotherapist, that everything that we are brought to is for the purpose of us transforming individually and collectively. So we sort of need to lean in and be with what is. And that's my hope with this video, to invite you to lean in, to gather your tools, to gather your support, to really, some might not believe as I say this, and it might be like, make you question, why would she use this word, but to lean into it as an opportunity to re-strengthen your own foundation, to question your beliefs, to look at your patterns. Right now, we're all out of our collective comfort zone, right? Life as we know it is different, and so we're going to have heightened fear. The moment we breach a comfort zone, we are triggered with fear. Okay, so fear is not a bad thing. I want to really, really emphasize that fear is our friend. Really, it's a messenger to tell us, there's possible danger. Now it's our job, our responsibility to take care of ourselves and turn those alerts off and focus on something that's going to support us. Now, here's a really, the way that I like to think about it that helps explain sort of my philosophy of this. I love the saying and the philosophy that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Therefore, we need to address both, the spiritual being and the human. When we are in overwhelmed times and bombarded with news that's really alarming, we really don't have access unless we're really, really practicing our spiritual tools and really, really tethering into something beyond what we're facing. We are in our human experience, and in the human experience is where we have fear. Now, the way our minds are set up, with fear, when we get overloaded with fear, which I really invite you to really minimize how much news you're watching. Of course, we need to be notified and we need to be aware, but you need to check in with your body. If that fear level is rising too much, time yourself out. You really need to monitor that, because when we're overwhelmed, our conscious awareness that supports us in navigating and making logical choices, helping us consciously choose things that are best for ourselves and others, checks out. I had this demonstration once. I don't know if I'm going to try to do it because it's really, I think it's a really good, it represents when we are in overwhelming fear, how we can't even stay in that conscious presence. Okay, so I've only done this once or twice. I'm going to see if I can get this right here for you. All right, so imagine, if you will, this is the brain. Okay, right here is the stem of our brain. This is our primal being, all automatic functioning, don't have to think about this. In here, this is, the limbic system. This is where the amygdala is. Now, the amygdala is the part of the brain that is always searching on our external experiences for anything that could be of danger and cause fear, okay? And then this is our prefrontal cortex that is really navigating for us in a conscious way and helping us navigate our worlds. When this gets overwhelmed, too much information coming in, and really I'm present to too much information too. Our news, we're all talking about the same thing, and of course we need to have awareness, but when we're overstimulated, this prefrontal cortex flips. I mean, it's like we flipped our lid, right? And then we don't have access to all those logic, reasoning, and decision making and willpower. No, we're working and operating out of that, that part of our brain that fight, flight, or freeze occurs from, where we are just in survival now, complete survival. We need to come back to this. This is where we can move to thrival. Make those good choices, support ourselves and others, okay? So that's my little demonstration. I hope that made sense. When you understand how the brain works, our mind works, which is all our programmed and conditioning, the more you can understand what we're working with individually to support ourselves and what we need to do. There's so much here to cover. I'm just going to try to cover the top of the trees for you today so that we can all drop our fear a little bit down, right? Get to a place of, as Martin Luther King said, be the thermostat, not the temperature. I created a meditation, actually, I'll load that into this group too, to help us do that, and I totally messed up that quote when I was trying to say it in the meditation, but he said, be the thermostat, not the temperature. We don't have choice what's going on in this world. We have no control of that. We do have control of what's here, okay? And the more we take personal responsibility and willingness to compassionately be with ourselves, notice what's arising, and take it as an opportunity to choose differently. We have control over our thoughts. We can choose more supportive, empowered thoughts. We have control to reframe what is happening. Not to, I want to be careful when I say reframe. It doesn't mean, be so positive that you're not being with the reality of what is happening. Be with the reality. That's the human being, right? And then and look from our spiritual lens what is possible still, and marry the two and balance the two, okay? So reframing is a tool of saying, okay, what's going on? Now, this is important to work with our subconscious minds. Our subconscious minds have all of our programmed information, all of our conditioned awarenesses, associations, and this is why some of us can get triggered by some things and some are okay with it. People who have had a lot of trauma, actually, I'm going to share this with you. I was noticing when all of this started happening, I was feeling almost too calm, and I thought that was really interesting. Well, I had a lot of trauma growing up, and so in some ways, trauma is a baseline for me. In some ways, trauma is familiar to me. Chaos and crisis is kind of familiar. So that's a really interesting thing to be aware of, right? Mostly, we need to be aware of our own associations through our trigger, when we're triggered, our reactions, right? The goal here is we want to have choice to not react but respond, to have more capacity and connection to our own inner environment, to have choice of how we're viewing what is so we can take appropriate action to take care of ourselves and our loved ones, okay? So a reframe, some of you know me on my Facebook wall or my page, and this, talking about reframing, this whole social distancing, when I heard that, I thought, wow, that's going to trigger a lot of people, because number one, we have a lot of basic needs, right? When our needs are compromised, our basic needs, we really go into fear. Our basic needs, our physiological needs for, food and shelter. Look at all the panic that took place with people going to the supermarkets. A basic need was threatened, right? And then there is the need for safety. We all need we need to feel safe in our beings, in our world, in our environment. All of that is being challenged right now. And we have a very solid human and spiritual need for connection, for feeling of belonging. All of these things are compromised right now, aren't they? So of course our fear, collective fear, is heightened. And for you empaths out there, my fellow empaths, our fear level can go skyrocketing because we're feeling the collective fear rising. In fact, when I created the meditation I did last week or a week and a half ago, I just was starting to feel this change in the collective baseline. I was like, oh gosh, I'm feeling some fear. So I went to my phone and I just spontaneously did a meditation. And I got to tell you, like 5 days later, my fear was rising so high that I literally took my advice, took myself outside, put headphones on, put my feet on the earth, and listened to the meditation, and it really helped me. So we are all so connected. So whether we see each other or talk to each other or not, we're so connected. So when you're feeling that fear rise, it might be other people's, might be yours. And here's the thing, take care of it, work with it, don't avoid it, don't suppress it, because, what we resist persists, it gets bigger, and it can be even more overwhelming. So let's take personal responsibility to take care of this being right here, this right here, this right here. That's our contribution. I saw someone post on my wall something like, she was really having a hard time for not being able to help. And I haven't responded back to her yet, but my thought was our ability to help where we wish we could help more, our ability to help is to help here. The greater we regulate our fear and choose differently, the more capacity we have to serve and support others. And this might sound a little woo-woo, but the more our energy, right? Our energy is rippling out from us to our family and friends and our communities and beyond. What do you want to contribute? If we're stuck in fear, we're not contributing anything that's going to support anyone else, let alone ourselves. And on top of that, this whole thing is we're really all needing to take these extra precautions so that we stay safe, we stay well, and that we, this virus, moves along without hurting and harming our loved ones and ourselves. So when we're in stress, our immune system is compromised. So listen, it behooves us to take this time to do our inner work. It always is essential, but it is crucial now to do our inner work, to really reach for the tools that are going to help us help ourselves and help others. So let's see I see some comments. I want to look at them, but let's see. An amen, yay! All right. Listen, I have not done live enough to go bouncing back and forth with comments, but I will try to look at some as soon as I go through some of these notes. So I'm just delighted that you're there with me, and this is that really delights me to see some comments. Okay, so I mentioned just now that our primary need is to be safe, to feel safe in our being and in where we live. That's really compromised right now. So we have to be, all of us right now are being called to be more creative, more adaptable, more flexible with how we meet our basic needs and the needs of others right now. So how do we do that when our external world, it's changing every moment? Again, we tap in what's going on. We're hearing reports of more people affected by this virus. Ooh, it can raise our fear. For every bit of information you take in that escalates your fear, you must reach for tools that de-escalates, that helps you regulate, that helps you choose a baseline, not a baseline, a state that will support you. For me, a state of calm, trusting, confidence. That's for me. But you're going to have to decide what it is that you need. And one way to arrive at that is, what's the opposite of fear for you? The opposite of fear for me is faith and trust. Course in Miracles says that the opposite of fear is love. That's good too. Try them on. What feels best in your body, in your being, when you hold that concept, that quality, and then the next part is to work to embody that, not just think it. We could have a concept of, yes, I have a lot of faith, while we're shaking in our boots. No, we want to embody our faith. And if we're not embodying our faith or our trust, that's our work, okay? So, how do we move through this time together and individually, supporting ourselves as we move through it? I want to really reinforce this. I said it briefly at the beginning. If you already had issues going on before all of this took place that you were already dealing with, say you recently lost a loved one and you are already in an intense stress response called grief, if you are a trauma survivor, if fear is just something that you cannot manage on your own, I really, really encourage you to reach for support. Now, I'm assuming that, your mental health therapist is available via phone or other ways, but I would encourage you to reach out and get support, okay? What I'm offering today is not at that level. I'm encouraging you to reach for your support where needed. I'm offering support from what my bag of tools as a transformational hypnotherapist. But I just really want to stress that, okay? Let's take care of you, okay? So, because like I said, what's happening externally in our worlds is just creating more pressure on us. We need to reach for support when needed. We need to take that pressure off. We need to get back to a place from, instead of surviving, that we can feel like we can thrive with what is, okay? One of the things about that I want to say that's really, really important to know and reclaim, sorry, I'm pretty wiggly on videos. I just can't sit still, so sorry about that. But sorry but not sorry, because it's just who I am. Anyway, here's the key that we all need to remember and reclaim and cultivate. We are wired with resiliency. Absolutely. This is why I called this talk in the group Shifting from Fear, what did I call it? Shifting from Fear and Cultivating Resiliency. Because a couple days ago, or right, it was the day I was having my fear amplified, and I took myself outside. I listened to my meditation, and then I just paused and looked around at nature, and I was just looking at the birds and the trees budding, and this absolute calm peace came over me, and I thought, they don't seem to be bothered by anything. I love that verse in the Bible too. Don't be anxious. I don't have it memorized. Forgive me. Look it up, someone, and post it. And it just made me think, wow, they have what I need. And what that is the ability to be with whatever circumstances are. And they are resilient. Nature is resilient. We're all coming out of this winter here in Washington State. It was a pretty mild winter, but me being from California originally, the winters here are really something to survive. But then spring arrives, and we emerge from these dark, long days, and cold. and not days, nights, and cold, and we reemerge and life is renewed, right? So how do we claim that right now in this moment? How can we claim and cultivate resiliency? Number one is to get those basic needs met in the best way that you can. And this is where we have to be creative, flexible, adaptable, be curious. Okay, I can't go over to my friend's house and get a hug right now. What else can I do? And we then from that place recognize what strengths you have. Resiliency is wired into us, but it is developed over each and every situation, and all of us have them, where we went through a time of challenge or crisis, the death of a loved one, losing a job, anything that was really earth-shattering, or as Iyanla Van Zandt likes to say, those birthquakes that wake us up, that make us choose differently. Inside of those challenges and crises, every crisis we've ever had, we, whether we knew it or not, we're cultivating a new strength, a new capacity, right? Especially if we have conscious awareness and intention to do so. I like to say we can just go through something, or we can grow through it. So even now, this is an invitation. We are all like on this collective, reset, or, I was joking with someone the other day and made a post about this, that, Mother Earth has put us all on a timeout, that timeout saying, not to punish us, but to say, hey, learn your lessons. It's time to learn and grow and do better, individually and collectively. So this resiliency factor, if you, actually in the meditation, I take you through a little process where you can be aware of what strengths you have cultivated. But it's also important to ask yourself, what strengths do I need to cultivate, okay, to get through this? If you feel stuck and you feel like, I don't know how to navigate this, that's an indicator that your subconscious mind does not have the information to support you, okay? This is, again, it's an opportunity to look and see, what did I learn about any time I went through a crisis? Maybe you developed some strengths, or maybe, unfortunately, you saw someone when you were a child or someone around you who didn't have strong coping skills, and that tends to get, I'm touching my face, whoops, I just washed them before this video. But if we had role models that did not teach us about how to manage difficult times, we probably don't have sufficient coping skills. The good news is we can always update them, look at what other people are doing that is working for them, and then practice that, okay? So I love this term, we really have to move out of this fight, flight, or freeze, right? And to learn to respond and not react. And you're probably going, yeah, right, how do I do that? Respond and not react. It takes a lot of practice. And remember, the key is to get this prefrontal cortex intact. How do we do that? Really, quite simply, is extreme self-care. Extreme times like this require extreme self-care. Now, this is one of those places where we can lean in, not resist. We're being asked to stay home. I'm seeing some reactions like, that people are pushing against that. But what if we leaned in and surrendered to what is, to take care of ourselves, to take care of our families and friends, to take care of our community and beyond? That surrendering to what is, acceptance. These are pieces, these are tools that are really the spiritual tools that help us make different choices, and it's making different choices that allows us to transform. I call it the ABCs of transformation. That's awareness before choosing, or awareness before choice. So really, I like to say, you are the expert of you. Now, be aware of yourself with compassion, not judgment, and just notice, how are you doing? How are your coping skills right now? Are you getting more reactive, more triggered? and then be curious and ask, what can I do differently? What strengths do I need? What qualities do I need to cultivate? And what can I do to support myself in doing that? Oh, so I love this term. It's called response flexibility. I don't know the origin of that. I just heard that the other day, and I'd like to honor whoever created that term, because I think it's beautiful. We want to be able to cultivate response flexibility. Like I said earlier, any given moment now, things are changing on, hourly. How do we want to respond? What can we do? How can we view what is from a lens of our faith and our trust rather than our fear? Okay, we want to develop these resilient coping styles. So just a couple of things here. How am I doing on time? Got a little late start, but I'm going to keep going for right now. I've got a few more things to talk about, and then we're going to end with a little meditation, okay? So one of the things to consider, what we're all being asked to do right now, we're all creatures of habit, aren't we? And when we develop these habits, we develop our habits in order to feel safe. Again, that primary need, safe. We tend to do the same things over and over again. And when our baseline is compromised and changed, especially for people, I touched my face again, okay. Little bonus point for you guys, can count as you're watching how many times I touch my face and let me know. When our baseline of life as we know it is so vastly different, and our habits, our daily habits and routines are different, we're going to naturally feel uncomfortable. I usually teach this in my classes. I'm going to show you right now in this video. This is something that's really important to be aware of. And so I'll show you how to cross your arms with me for a moment. Not only will it help you get a little bit more comfortable, and me as well, it's going to demonstrate something that is what we're all facing right now. Okay, I usually show this to my clients when they come in to show and demonstrate what it is we're up, what we need to do. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of challenge talking because I did not sleep well last night, but I'm going to keep going. So I show this to my clients to demonstrate that when we want to make significant change in our lives, we have to address the subconscious mind, and we have to get out of our comfort zones, okay? So now, comfortable, yeah, we can sit here all day, but I want you to switch your arms to the opposite side and get a sense of what that feels like. You can type what it feels like. Usually when I'm doing this live in a group, people will say things like, I'm comfortable, different, I don't like it. And then I ask, what do you want to do? And then they say, I want to go back to this, okay? Well, this is a representation of our comfort zones, okay? I want to go back to this. Well, we can't go back to this right now. This is compromised right now. Our whole worlds have changed, okay? So we need to create a new comfort zone. But until we're there, or a new normal is the way to say it, we have to be uncomfortable for a little while. And we need to be comfortable being uncomfortable for a little while, okay? And in that being comfortable with being uncomfortable, it's helpful to have some phrases, some verse from a Bible or something that will help you, support you in that moment. Everything we're choosing to do until we can create a temporary new normal needs to be empowering us, supporting us, encouraging ourselves to take it one step at a time, and in times like this, one moment at a time. So just be aware of that, being comfortable, being uncomfortable for a little while. Okay, now, talked about basic needs for belonging, connection. I love that people are being so creative with doing this now, and there's a number of people reaching out through Zoom and online, and I was in a women's circle last night on Zoom, which is really cool, and I'm going to learn about Zoom to offer more things. And this is going to sound like a commercial, and it's not meant to be, I promise. But prior to all of this, I had decided to put my class, Sacred Soul Visioning, on an online platform, and I launched it. I am not kidding. I launched it the day the news came out about this virus, and my first thought was, oh gosh, bad timing. And then I reinterpreted that and reframed it to maybe not. Maybe this is going to support people more than I thought. So I have this class that's available online. I have my husband from Tribal Edge, founder of Tribal Edge, is, it's a nature-based earth primal arts training center. Obviously, we can't be out doing these trainings together, so he's being adaptive and creative and putting his classes online as well. And you can go to tribaledge.life for that to check out more information. My friend Carrie Campbell is an amazing yoga teacher, and she's starting yoga classes for free online next Tuesday. So we have to find ways to meet those needs, to support ourselves, to meet those needs for good self-care. Again, right here, right? We want to get back to that regulated, held state. So extreme measures, extreme self-care, okay? And self-care is not selfish. I just really want to get that out there, especially when there's a lot going on and it feels like we are in survival mode. The first thing that falls away are the things we need the most, our self-care. So if we're not, as that cliche saying, put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. If we're not taking care of our own needs, we won't have the capacity to take care of others. So it's really, really crucial. The question really is, how do we get our needs met in this current situation, in this current scenario? Our needs as a spiritual being, as a human being. I posted in the group somebody posted this on my wall. I absolutely love this because I thought it spoke to the heart of my intention of gathering us together, okay? Because I really want to encourage us to step out of that survival mindset to thriving with what is, okay? And this word, this Danish term called, let's see if I can say it right, hygge, I think it's pronounced. And the definition of it is the art of inviting closeness and paying attention to what makes us feel open-hearted and alive, enjoying life's simple pleasures, a coziness of the soul. I just love that. How can we, right now, with whatever's going on, facilitate for ourselves a coziness of our souls? Oh, that makes me feel so comforted just even saying that. And to really hold that question in your mind with everything you're doing, when you notice, and when you're noticing with compassion what you're doing, what you're choosing, how you're reacting, or if you're responding, hopefully responding, you can set an intention for yourself to navigate this time. Intention or a mission helps us navigate. It's like the compass towards what we're moving towards. So find something like that. That just really warmed me so much that's going to be one of my touchstones. I want that. I want to cultivate that right now, no matter what we're going through. Okay. Back to the class I am offering. The reason I think it's important, you don't have to do my class, but I invite you to. And if money is an issue, please talk to me. But visioning is an important thing to do. Just, praying and visioning. Why? Because it helps us accept what is, but vision for something greater yet to be. And we must have something to hold on to move towards. Otherwise, we feel even more stuck, even more discouraged, even more disillusioned. We must cultivate hope. We must create vision for something greater, okay? And that's what my class is about. Okay, I think, here, I wanted to say in terms of the social connection, again, there's so many opportunities to connect, not in the way we want to. I know. First of all, I am kind of an introvert, believe it or not, and I am kind of a, someone who likes to cocoon anyway. I came up with this phrase, compassionate cocooning instead of social distancing, because remember that word distancing has a negative association. So I'm not someone who needs a lot of social interaction. I do love my people, and I do need my friends. But there are some people who are extreme extroverts who really need contact and really need that. So there are all these really wonderful platforms like Facebook. I want to say something about Facebook though, because, you know, again, being mindful, here's a simple tool. Is this helping me? Is this hurting me? Is it helping me, or is this overwhelming me? Facebook can be one of those overwhelmers, right? There's just so much information all day long, right? And there's a lot of information that is, you know, can be really fear-provoking, right? So really check in with yourself. Notice how much you're on Facebook. And if you can, you know, use it with intention. That's how I try to use Facebook, with intention. I like to post positive messages. I love to create posts that are inspiring and supportive. I like to check in on friends through Facebook. I love Facebook video so I can see my friends, right? So use it with intention and really check your body. If you're on there too long, your body's going to tell you. Just notice if the fear starts to rise. Let that be an indicator to time yourself out off of Facebook, or go purposefully to a site that you know that inspires you, okay? So use some of these platforms like that. There's Zoom, as I mentioned, and this fun one that my friend Danny taught me about. She's so adorable. She sends me these videos on Marco Polo. So, you know, there are ways to meet these needs, not in the way we want to, but again, remember, we're being asked to be creative, to be flexible, to be adaptable in meeting our needs. And I'll tell you, I feel so blessed, I'm sure many of you do as well, that our weather, especially here in Washington, is so amazing right now. It's such a gift and a blessing. So get outside, go immerse yourself in nature. Take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground, help yourself get grounded, connected to your true nature through nature. It's so healing, and it's so quickly, I mean, really 30 seconds. I don't know, go time it, go do it, and report back to me how long it took for you once you put your feet on the ground to feel better. Someone's saying they're just getting this. I don't know, someone just popped in. I don't know, but I'm going to keep going. So do that earthing process. Go put your feet on the ground. Get outside. Take classes online. I mentioned that already. And I think I covered pretty much what I wanted to cover. I just want to do a little meditation with you all right now, okay? Again, thinking of this as a reset. We are all on a collective reset. You can call it what you want, a pause, you know, a timeout, not in a punishing way, but in a way to say, okay, what is this calling me to, and what is this asking of me? And really accepting that, saying what it is, you know, that I always said, oh, okay, that's a good saying, but it is what it is, which is acceptance. And now the action part. What can I do? It is what it is. Now what am I going to do about what is? Okay? So we're out of our comfort zones. We're creating new comfort zones. We're being flexible. We're being, you know, responsively flexible. Responsing. I'm creating new words here. Having flexibility in the way we respond. Creating new coping skills, and finding creative and adaptable ways to meet our basic needs and our needs for belonging and connection. So let's all go into a little bit of a meditation as I invite you right now just to close your eyes and turn in and just follow that breath inward. You know, as I'm relaxing in this moment, I'm thinking I probably needed to check and make sure you can all hear me, but I'm just going to trust that you can. So as you turn within and just turn away from the external world, let everything fall away right now. Nothing matters but this moment and you, connecting to what you need, connecting to how you're doing, how your body is doing. Noticing with gentle awareness. Is your mind full of worry and doubt and fear? Is your body bracing? Are you noticing tightness in your body anywhere? Notice your breathing. This is a number one indicator of if you're in a lot of fear. If you're doing shallow chest breathing, you're in fear. So override that fear response by taking in a deep breath all the way into your belly. And to further amplify that, decide on the state, that quality you want to hold on the inner that'll hold you. To set your thermostat on that quality, calm, confidence, trust, faith. You can decide the one that is the opposite of fear, the one that's going to hold you, restore you. Breathe that in. And exhaling all fear, doubt, worry, let it go. Good. Now set an intention for this meditation. What do you need? I intend to be, feel, experience through this situation we're all going through. Or I intend to feel. Okay? Whatever works. So I'm going to do one more clearing. I want you just to imagine this beautiful light forming at the crown of your head. Some like to imagine it like sunlight. This is why I tell you, just being outside on a beautiful day is a meditation in itself. But just imagine this light has the ability to dissolve fear, to clear worry, to unhook you from anything that's really not supportive right now. To let your body, mind system get back into homeostasis. To feel a little bit more relaxed. To increase your capacity to be with what is. So as this light moves through, let it be soothing, let it be calming, let it be restorative, whatever you need. Moving down like a waterfall of light, clearing, cleansing, releasing, and moving down through your body, and clearing whatever you can release in this moment, or let go of, or surrender to God in this moment. Let it go. Now, breathing in, continuing to invite in what you most need. Since our basic need is safety, I want you all to imagine yourself in a safe place, whether it's your home or somewhere in nature. The beautiful thing about our minds is we can be anywhere we imagine and decide. And actually I want to say something about that. Spiritual beings having a human experience. Spirit is not limited. We may not be able to have physical contact with people. We may be distanced from loved ones and family. But we can imagine, go into relaxation, go into prayer, and imagine our spirit connecting with their spirit right where they are. And I'll tell you, I've had evidence this works, so trust me on this. So right now you can take yourself anywhere that feels the most safe, most it's a sacred place for you. It's a restorative place for you, real or imagined. I know for me, I love to be by the water, ocean or lake. And just breathe in and let every cell of your body saturate with the energy of safety. You are safe. And tell yourself a couple of things that are supportive to you. It's more helpful for you to be the encourager of your own mind-body system, to listen to your own soul's wisdom, to guide you, to listen in prayer and meditation for that guidance to help you move through what is, to grow through. Feeling safe in this moment. Allowing yourself to now image for something greater than what is, something that's going to allow you to move towards something, again, this is why I said it's important to create vision, or to pray for what's the highest possibility here for you, your family, your friends, and our world we live in. Vision for that. What will that feel like, be like? Now there's noise outside of everyday noise, that's okay. This is a great reminder that we have the control on the inner. You can let that noise distract you, or you can stay with this meditation and stay with the energy of calm, confidence, and trust, or whatever it is you need. We can let the noise of the world bother us, or we can stay tethered into our faith, anchored in to safety, knowing all is well. One last thing to do in this safe place. I want you to imagine dropping roots here. If you witness trees through a storm, they may sway, and yeah, they may get some little pruning in the big winds, pruning away things like our beliefs and patterns that aren't supporting us. But when they're deeply rooted, they can weather the storm. So I want you to ground in a couple of qualities that will support you, and imagine taking them through your core down into the earth underneath you. And pick a few, like 3 or 4. Grounding in trust, down through your body into the earth, deep into the core of the earth, where you are held, supported, stabilized, secure, right where you are. I like to always ground in one of my essence words, an essence word for me is from my soul, and that is joy. So I'm grounding in joy through me down into the earth, that no matter what is going on in the external world, I can still choose joy. Trust and joy. Those are my 2 words right now, 2 qualities. And you can play with this and change them and add them and drop more roots, okay? The point of this meditation is to have you tether into that which will hold you, support you, and as you are held and supported right where you are, you're able to support those around you and out into the world. And so now, just when you're ready, I'm just going to leave us in this wonderful state, imagining this energy of safety and all that you've grounded in, just radiating out from your body and being all the way around you, holding you and others. And take one more deep breath. And really feel that moving through your body. And when you're ready, just go ahead and open your eyes and come on back. Okay. So there we are. I think we're about to close now, almost not quite an hour, but close enough. I hope this helped you today. I just really wanted to reach out to you to encourage you all to something that I can do. I can't remember who said this quote. I want to say, someone will know. I am but one person. I cannot do everything, but I must do the one thing that I can. That makes me cry. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Woo. All right. Cry too. Woo. That was powerful, because that's why I'm here. It's the one thing I can do. Let me get myself together. To support my community, to support myself, to support you. So do the one thing you can do to support yourself and your loved ones and your family and our community. We are all in this together. And have a good cry when you need it, okay? All right. And a good laugh, too. Do them both at the same time, just like me. All right, everyone. Thank you for being with me. Take good care of you and yours. We're all in this together. Reach for support when needed. And let's stay connected. All right. Peace and blessings. Take good care. Bye for now. I don't know how to end this.